Happy Father's Day in Australia. Let's brew a beer. Father's Day here in Australia, and I couldn't think of anything else, well, other than hanging out with the wife and kids, that I'd rather do than brew a beer. You know, lately I've been really digging the American brown ales. I reviewed one from Hop Nation just recently, and on my trip to Brisbane I had them from Four Pines and an absolutely awesome one from Green Beacon. Enough is enough, I say. It's time to brew my own recipe. You know, the American brown ale is kind of like a bit of an in-betweener. It's a bit of a unique style. It's, you know, not as dark as a porter. It's not as light as a pale ale. It's hoppier than its English cousins, but still very much about the malt. So for mine, I'm looking to hit around the 5.2% ABV. I'm going to aim for 50 EBC in colour and 35 IBUs, and I reckon she'll be an absolute ripper. Sound good? Well, why don't I show you how I take my recipe from Beersmith and enter it into the Brewie. So I made this recipe in Beersmith as I normally do with my recipes, and then I'm going to enter it into the Brewie recipe creator to make sure I get all my calculations right. So first up, I've got to give it a name, American Brown, and then here you can see I'm going to start to add my fermentables. So my 4 different malts that I'm using. This is an 18 litre batch, so I'm going to be using 3.6 kilos of pale malt, 0.5 kilos of Munich, 0.35 kilos of crystal, and 0.25 kilos of choc malt. So I search for the different malts, enter in the weights, and move on to the next step. Same thing happens with the hops. So I'm putting in 12 grams of Centennial at the start of the boil, then 12 grams of Cascade at 30 and 15 minutes, and then finish it off with 14 grams of Centennial at flame out. So at this stage here, you can see I'm going to prepare my mash in water, the temperature that I'm going to put it in. So I'll be doing a single step mash at 66.7, and then I'll be mashing out at 76. In between time, I'll be doing a 30-minute sparge at 76 degrees. Same with the hops here. I'm just basically going through and telling which hop cage is going to be put into the brew at what stages. So 60 minutes, 30, 15, and 1 for my flame out. Last thing to do is just to basically tell it what temperature I want to cool the beer down to at the end. Pretty simple stuff really, but really allows me to brew my own recipes with some really great control, I think. What do you reckon of that? Pretty easy, isn't it? So Beersmith recipe, transferred into Brewie, punch it all in, and away we go. Here's my cat again. She just seems to always want to show up in these brewing videos and my beer reviews, doesn't she? I don't know, she's a bit weird. Anyway, we'll continue on. So speaking of experimentation, this thing allows me to really do that, but also allows me to control the elements of my brew, like my mashing and sparging temperatures, etc., that I couldn't really do in the past. But on experimentation, I'm thinking with this one, maybe I should dry hop it, but then I'm also in a bit of two minds. So I'm putting it out to you guys out there in the homebrew community. What do you reckon I should do? If I dry hop, in the boil, I've used Centennial and Cascade. Should I stick with one of those 2 hops perhaps, or go for something a little bit different? Or maybe not dry hop at all? Perhaps I should divide the brew into half after I've fermented it and try 2 different methods. That'd be pretty cool. So look, leave me a message, give me a suggestion of what you think I should do with this beer once it's finished fermentation, because as always, I love to hear from you guys, and you are much better experienced brewers than I am, and so I'm keen to hear what you think. So leave me a message. Oh yeah, I wish you could smell what I'm smelling in the shed right now. It is absolutely sensational, just malty goodness. So the brewery's just done its cooling run, and now it's doing its sedimentation drop, and I've rehydrated my yeast. And in a second, we'll drain off into the fermenter and see what it looks like. Well, there you go. That's just finishing draining into fermenter there. That's how it looks. Very nice and brown. But, you know, when I do these videos, I like to, I suppose, keep it real is probably a good way to say it. And I'm here to say that I have nowhere near hit my gravity reading that I was expecting today. I was hoping in the recipe to hit a 1.053, and I'm 10 points below that at 1.043. So bit disappointing. Have to have a bit of a think about that and how I might be able to fix that now. Well, despite not hitting my gravity reading, all is not lost, because I'm enjoying this other beer of mine off the tap here, and it tastes bloody fantastic. How good is home brewing? So anyway, I'll put that away to ferment and await your suggestions on what I should do with it as far as the dry hopping. So give me a shout out, let me know what you think I should do. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but I just realised something, that it was my fault that I didn't hit the correct OG. Check this out, the sparging water, I originally had 10 litres entered in there for some reason. I should have had it in as 8. And when I go back and I check the details of what the brew would be, check out the OG, 54. So, my mistake, you live and learn, I guess. And look, until we talk again in this great big craft beer land of ours, cheers to all the fathers out there, and cheers to great beers.